So, this is my presentation on energy efficiency titled Saving the Planet One Step at a Time. So, my topic for this project was energy efficiency due to it being very closely tied to what I want to be, which is a mechanical engineer. The reason I'm so interested about this topic is because I very much like using the most that I can with as little as possible. For example, building bridges very cheaply and that work just enough so that they'll work forever. So, my intended audience for this presentation is people who generally don't know much about energy efficiency, but who still want to help and get into the field. So, what is energy efficiency? Energy efficiency generally in this sense is the amount, the measure of what you can do with a certain amount of energy, emissions, or water. Um, One example of this measure is that producing 1 ton of steel requires roughly 1,057 cubic meters of CO2 emissions, um, 5,500 to 7,000 kilowatts hours of energy, and approximately 66,000 to 79,000 gallons of water. Now, these are some videos that you can watch to get a general sense of not just energy efficiency as a whole, but on the atomic level. So, some perspectives in my topic. So, the perspectives that I chose were, first of all, the economic perspective, which is the economist perspective on energy efficiency and how it can either help or hurt the economy. And in conclusion, I've seen that energy efficiency generally is not used at its fullest, mostly because companies do not want to spend the huge starting cost of energy efficiency because it does take a lot of money to get it running. However, it does produce significantly more product because it is using much less energy and costs much less to produce. So my second perspective is of the actual engineers and technological analysts of these projects, which they've seen that most of these energy efficiencies, quote unquote, help, but not nearly to the extent that they talk about, and not nearly to the extent that they could, which is why we should research this more and why we should push and strive to do this. My final perspective is environmentalist, because as you've known, energy efficiency generally correlates with or environmental emissions because the less energy you're using or the more efficiency you're using energy generally correlates with less CO2 emissions, which is another huge reason why energy efficiency is so vital because our planet is slowly dying from us using fossil fuels. And it is perspected that we will run out of coal in the year around 2200. So, what can be done about this problem? So, my proposed solution is to create strict energy and emission limits on these large factories and some transportation methods. So, as you can see here, there's many different additives to my solution, including lasting large scale change, reduce energy inefficiency, it can help the environment. So, how are we going to do this? Not just on a logical perspective, but on a legal perspective. So, my solution will be implemented by a clear step-by-step process designed to move from awareness to action first, mostly on a legal level, to help people understand how to pass a bill and how we can get this bill specifically passed through Congress and statewide elections. So, the first step to my problem is to ways raise awareness for this problem because as you know there's a lot of energy efficiency motives but not a lot of people know to the pure extent that it can help. Next, we need to create a proposal to get a sponsor for this, which is somebody who will basically be on the insider of the people who vote for this and then basically like say that our bill is very necessary and will produce them profit. After that, while working with our legislative sponsor, we can submit it to the advocacy stage where supporters will contact legislators, attend hearings, and encourage committee members to vote in favor of the bill. And finally, if the bill is passed, my solution will include implementation and enforcement through state agencies that monitor energy use, set reporting requirements, and ensure compliance over the policy will also have be evaluated and adjusted to improve effectiveness and maintain long-term impact to truly future-proof this plan. So how will we get funding? We can get funding in many, many different ways, including fundraisers, raising awareness. We can do marches, everything like that. But the ultimate goal is federal funding. So what good will come from this? Who will So, lower costs and higher profits for factories. Factory owners are the main people who are skeptical about this because of the high initial cost. However, if they do go through this burden of the high initial cost, they will gain much profit. Cleaner and environmental and healthier communities because reducing energy waste also cuts down greenhouse gas emissions and pollution. More reliable energy systems because generally, more efficient energy systems last longer, therefore, will have less upfront costs and many more reasons why you should take my bill. So, you can help too. Energy efficiency is not just a distant issue. It affects our environment, communities, economy right now. This proposal offers a realistic long-term solution, but it can't happen without public support. So please spread awareness, get involved locally, advocate to legislators, and so start sustainable businesses to help our future become a clean and thriving economy.